we'll start with the pseudo selector. So what is this pseudo selector? So in this pseudo selector, we have either two different like element selector and the class selector. So pseudo selector element, it is a way to select the something does not exist explicitly as an element in the HTML document. So what is this pseudo selector? Like whatever the way we are going to select the something, so it does not exist explicitly in the element in the HTML document. So in your HTML document, so if something it does not exist as an explicitly, so those selectors we are called it as an element selector. And pseudo class selector, it does apply to an HTML element, but it targets either a particular state or the variety of the family relationship. So in this class selector, so mainly it will going to target the any particular state or any the variety of the relationship will going to be targeted in this. This is the example for the pseudo selector. So before moving on to this example, so let me see that whichever the different selectors which is available in the pseudo element. So you can take a screenshot of this. So these are the selector example followed by the type. So either it can be the pseudo class or it can be the pseudo element. So and it is a description for that. So first is the A followed by the colon followed by the link. So this we are going to call it as an pseudo class. Okay. So again second one is the A colon followed by the visited. Again it is called as a pseudo class. So here we have divided into pseudo class and the pseudo element, right? So till now this checked it will call it as a pseudo class and followed by the here the two letters like first child and the first letter. So this we are going to call it as a pseudo element. Okay, sorry, till the it is a pseudo class. So the last one that is the first letter only we are called it as a pseudo element. So here what is this A colon followed by the link? It selects the link that have not been visited. So if in your HTML code you are using this A followed by the colon. Here A followed by the colon, so followed by the link. So what does it indicate? So whatever the properties you are written here, like whatever the values you are added, so like the property you are taken the text decoration and the color. So there it select the link that have not been visited. So till now you are not been visited to that particular selector. So then we are going to use this A colon link. And next is the A colon visited. So it is also same as it is working like a link. It select the link that have been visited. So here A followed by the colon again followed by the visited. So what does it indicates? Like whatever the contents or whatever the data you have written in between that, so it has been visited previously. So our next focus, it will give you the select the elements that have the input focus. Next H over and H active. So these are the some of the pseudo class and the pseudo element selector. So this H over, it will select the element that mouse pointer is currently above. So if wherever the mouse pointer is currently present, so that only it will going to select the H over here. So this is the example for the pseudo class. Next is the active. So this again it will going to select an element that is activated by the user. So when you are going to use this active as a selector, so only whenever the element it is activated by the user, so then only you are going to use the selector. And the first child followed by the first letter and the first line. So it is an element. It select the first letter of an element, like whatever you have written first. So it will select the first letter. So then according to that, it is going to add the drop cases of a paragraph. So first it will select the whatever the letter behind it first, then it will move on to the next topic. So this is of the examples of this pseudo class and the pseudo selector. You can take the screenshot of this. take heading as an example and just take down the screenshot of this pseudo selectors. This is the contextual selector. So what is this contextual selector? So this contextual selector, it allow you to select all the elements. It is based on their ancestor, descendants and the siblings. So in the previous classes we have seen that. So there will be a body content present in between that. So body it is present in between the HTML. So on that HTML it is present in between the head. So this is how it can be divided based on their ancestors and the sibling. So sibling examples like in between the body there will be a header and again there will be a paragraph, right? So there based on that you are going to select the each element. So based on the properties like ancestor or descendant or any sibling. Contextual selector. So which are the selectors we are going to use it in the like descendant, child, adjacent sibling and general sibling. So these are the examples for the contextual selectors. Let me study one by one. So what is this descendant? A specific element that is contained with somewhere within the another element. So look here, it select that P element that is contained somewhere within the division element. So it is called as a descendant selector. Like P is in a paragraph, so that paragraph it should be present within the division. So then we will call it as a descendant. And next is the child. Here select an H2 element that is a child of the division element. So here child is like H2 is the child for the parent division. And again the adjacent sibling. So it is like H3 plus P. So it is what it select the first P after any H3. Like so what is the adjacent sibling? So it contains that element. So next to the sibling it comes directly after the specified element. So like either P1, P2, P3. So these are the siblings under the header. So here by example I am taken H1 has the header. So below that header there will be an P1, P2, P3. So these are the adjacent siblings. So next last one is the general sibling. So there it will select the element so that share the same parent as the H3. So it will going to specify the element. So it will going to share all the parents that is the same as the specified element. To this example, so how we are going to see the contextual selector. So here division and the P. So select the P as an element somewhere within a division element. So here where the P is present, so here the P is in a selected element, so it is present inside the division. So that is the contextual selector. Like whatever the selector you have taken here, so that should be presented in between that whatever the contextual selectors. So next in this example, select the first P element somewhere within the division. See here. So here P is an element. So select that P element somewhere it is present in the division element. So again those things that is the division and this paragraph that is a P element. So these two again it is presented in the ID which is known as a main ID. Example for the contextual selector. So selector we have taken the one example which is indicates the listing the file. So that is of the unordered list. So there how you are writing that. So we are calling the unordered list. So I am linking that unordered list by taking the color as a blue. So this is example for it contains the division. So along with division it has an ID. So there how it is going to be connected with the unordered list with the leader list. So there will be many divisions. So under the footer and the header. So in this contextual selector, the main thing you have to know that you have to select the element. So within the contextual element. So the both thing whatever you are going to select, it should be same as the selector. So mainly you are selecting the same element. So it should be present in the contextual selector. is the cascade, so that I will tell you in the next. So today we will start with the box model. So the next topic is the box model. So what is this box model? Okay, before we are going to that box model, let me see here. Just look here, box model. So this term, the box model, it is used when talking about the designing and the layout. So in the CSS, when we are going to use this box model, so when we are going to talking about the designing of the background or designing of the layout, we are moving towards the CSS box. So here mainly it contains the box look like